Right now at 6, a 14-year-old is among the latest murder victims in our area.
There's really no words that can ease the pain.
What investigators are saying about whoever pulled the trigger, and
it was really alarming to see that number.
As immigration arrests skyrocket in the Portland metro, advocates question who's actually being held. Plus,
a serious failure here at the TSA checkpoint at PDX. A meat cleaver makes it through TSA checkpoint undetected and onto an airplane.
TSA should be better at catching that, especially a meat cleaver.
then the Blazers return to action right here on KGW. We're live at Moda as Rip City prepares to face off against the Sun.
And later, the multi-million-dollar donation giving thousands of lost and injured animals a second chance.
It really is going to help many, many animals.
But first, to breaking news in Washington, where authorities have issued an Amber Alert for two young girls, 8 and 12 years old. Police believe Audrey and Vanessa Gleave were abducted around 6 this morning near Montesano, which is west of Olympia. Authorities are asking you to be on the lookout for a 2014 black Subaru Forester with Washington plate AZB4600.
Police say the suspect, Carolyn Gleave, is in a, quote, escalated state of crisis. They say she could be headed to one of several places, including Deer Park and Spokane, Arizona, Utah, or California. Call 911 if you see them or the car.
Developing this evening, we are learning more about a teenager police say was killed in a shooting in Portland's Powellhurst-Gilbert neighborhood, but the suspects, authorities say, still out there.
Today, officers identified the teenager as 14-year-old Merrick Roscoe, who was killed early Sunday morning inside the house on Southeast 125th. Libby Dowsett joins us now live from police headquarters downtown. Libby, what's the word on who's responsible here?
Well, Christine, Chief Bob Day says they have identified some suspects, but they are not releasing names at this point. But he is asking the public to come forward with information brought in on what happened that day. The shootings happened on Sunday at 125th Avenue, Southeast 125th, and Southeast Division. Portland police say 14-year-old Merrick Roscoe and a 17-year-old teenager were shot sometime before 6:30 a.m. Roscoe died after being rushed to the hospital. The 17-year-old is expected to recover. Also shot a 42-year-old man who's also doing okay. A 19-year-old suffered a non-gunshot related injury. Chief Day says this does not appear to be a random act.
It appears that people knew each other. As you said, it's not random, so there does seem to be some awareness of people involved. There's really no words that can ease the pain. The loss of this 14-year-old boy is just really a lot to take in, and with his life ahead of him, just sort of compounds that sadness.
And the chief says this is the 5th minor to die in homicidal violence in Portland since 2023. So again, he's asking anyone who has video from around their homes or any information to come forward and contact them. Back to you guys.
Libby Dowsett downtown. Libby, appreciate your reporting.
Across the country, in places like North Carolina, immigration operations are ramping up, and videos like this one show what they can look like.
And now the Border Patrol chief says federal agents altogether in the last month made more than 560 arrests in the Portland area. That's far more than previously reported. Celine Stevens is here with the details. Celine?
David, Christine, so they're calling it Operation Oregon Support Portland Sweep. Border Patrol says the arrests in October involved immigrants with criminal records, but those I spoke with say not all those being arrested are criminals.
U.S. Border Patrol Chief Michael Banks shared this video with a song from Sesame Street on social media last week. It appears to show people arrested last month in the Portland area with their charges and their place of citizenship. He wrote, in October alone, over 560 criminal illegal aliens living in our neighborhoods were targeted and apprehended.
It was really alarming to see that number.
Jess Montoya with Oregon for All says the number of those arrested has only increased in recent months.
It's definitely been a number that is higher than what our normal activity in the state of Oregon has been for many years.
In a statement from Customs and Border Protection, they wrote, "The 560 are targeted enforcement arrests by both CBP and ICE enforcement and removal operations together. DHS agencies are working hand in hand in the Portland area to keep our communities safe by arresting aliens with criminal or immigration violations."
The people that are being arrested are grandparents. U.S. citizens have been arrested as well. So it definitely doesn't line up with what they're reporting.
According to the Migration Policy Institute, nearly 3/4 of ICE detainees as of September had no criminal conviction nationwide.
ICE and CBP have arrested citizens. They've arrested longtime permanent residents. They have arrested a lot of people, and the reason why they can make these arrests is they're doing them in violation of the Constitution.
KGW most recently reported on this in the case of Victor Cruz, who was held by ICE for almost a month despite having a valid work permit. Attorney Stephen Manning, the executive director for Innovation Law Lab, says he's never seen something like this happen before.
So according to our data, this is a 4,000% increase in detentions over last year at the same time. So that is, I've never seen that before.
Chief Banks posted on X late this afternoon saying they arrested, quote, 23 criminal illegal aliens in one shift. Those crimes include rape, assault, drug charges, and traffic offenses. Back to you.
Appreciate the follow-up. Thank you, Celine.
Tonight at 11, a brand new KGW investigation into the federal officers responsible for securing Portland's ICE facility.
That's right, and an important note here, they're not actually ICE. Investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi is in the newsroom now with a preview. Kyle.
Well, demonstrators accused the federal officers of using excessive force and instigating confrontation. The federal government says it's simply protecting its property. So we poured over countless video clips and social media posts to get a better understanding of what's going on here. Who are these federal officers, and have they crossed the line? Our investigation focused on the Federal Protective Service, a little-known federal agency with broad authority and a system that allows the Department of Homeland Security to pull in specially trained tactical teams to help police protesters.
It actually creates a lot of danger and conflict, and that results in the various sorts of civil rights abuses and aggressive policing that we're seeing.
Much more in our full investigation coming up tonight at 11.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, Kyle. Developing tonight, Northwest lawmakers are weighing in after nearly all members of Congress voted to compel the Justice Department to release all case files around the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Congresswoman Maxine Dexter saying in part, quote, "Enough. Survivors deserve justice. The public deserves answers. Anyone who stands in the way is complicit in shielding pedophiles." Representative Andrea Salinas adding, quote, "This is not about politics. This is about standing up for every American who has been failed by a system that protects the powerful and vilifies the vulnerable. It is about accountability." The bipartisan bill requires the Justice Department to release all unclassified documents related to Epstein's sex trafficking operation. President Trump reversed his long-standing opposition to that after it became clear a majority of Republicans backed the move.
We fought the president, the attorney general, the FBI director, the Speaker of the House, and the Vice President to get this win.
Once the president signs the bill, the Justice Department must release the files within 30 days.
Providence is laying off 150 caregivers in its third round of cuts this year. Most are non-clinical staff at acute care ministries, Providence Medical Group, and Providence Health Plan. The organization says it'll try to help affected employees transition to other roles where possible. These cuts, as you may recall, follow earlier layoffs and closure of several units. The changes are a part of ongoing restructuring to address financial and workforce challenges.
Meanwhile, the union representing more than 8,000 OHSU employees, including painters, custodians, pharmacists, and therapists, say the vast majority have now voted to authorize a strike. They're now in an official 30-day cooling off period. The union says it's fighting for better wages for some of the hospital's lowest paid workers. OHSU's president telling KGW last week he hopes to have a deal in place within the next couple of months.
Okay, let's talk a little bit of weather now. It was a pretty chilly start to the day today.
Yeah, Matt, I've got one word for you. Brr. Is that a word?
It was cool, and it's going to be chilly again tomorrow morning too, so keep that word handy. We've got cloud cover right now over Portland, but this is going to break up. It's already broken up over other parts of the valley, so the temperature, once the clouds break up, will begin to really drop rapidly. We will see low temperatures in the 30s again, like we did this morning. In fact, it dropped to 33 at Hillsborough and Aurora, Portland 37, Vancouver 34. So it was a cool start. It's going to be another chilly morning tomorrow. Even had temperatures down at freezing in Salem and Hood River. You drop down to 36. In fact, out in the gorge from Hood River to the east, we've got a freeze warning up there. Let's take a look at November, though, for the first 17 days. First of the month through yesterday. The average low temperature, our third warmest on record. So in spite of what happened this morning, the month up until today has been really, really mild. The average high temperature, nearly 59 degrees. That's the sixth warmest on record. And we have accumulated 8 days where we hit 60 degrees or warmer, and that's the fifth most. So by all three of these metrics, all of them in the top 10 in terms of warm weather for November. But that's not the case tomorrow morning. As I mentioned, we've got a freeze warning up for the gorge from Hood River on off to the east. Then over on the coast, switching focus, we've got a beach hazard statement for sneaker waves. That doesn't begin, though, until Thursday, but it goes right on through the weekend as things will be getting a little bit rough out there, and there's a high surf advisory down on the southern Oregon coast. So another chilly night tonight. We get some showers late Wednesday, but a mainly dry weekend, and a dry Thanksgiving is quite possible as well. More on that later, guys.
All right, thanks, Matt. Well, let's talk about this. The Trailblazers are back on KGW for the first time since 2017. You can watch Rip City in action right here with tip-off set for 8.
The Blazers hoping for a win after Sunday's close call against the Mavericks in OT. Art Edwards live at Moda Center tonight. Art, how's the vibe there?
Well, it's a long time before tip-off, so it's the players who are out on the floor right now getting a little bit of a warm-up in. But you know what? A couple of things that we have just found out. Drew Holiday, he's out because of calf soreness, and Jeremy Grant is what they call questionable because of an illness. Now, the last time the Blazers played, it was on Sunday. They were in Dallas. It was the end of a 5-game road trip that they had played, and things didn't go all that great on the road trip as it turned out. In that last game against Dallas, they actually lost the game in overtime, even though they had some chances to come through at the end in regulation to win the game. Talked with head coach Thiago Splitter after the game.
Offensively, we got to be better. Just one-on-one situations, and it's like guard better and be smarter.
So right now the Blazers sit at 6 and 7 in the standings. The Suns 8 and 6. So they're right next to each other in the standings. Tip-off, of course, as we've said, is set for 8 o'clock here at the Moda Center, and it will be on KGW, so it's an easy place to watch and catch all the action. And we'll have the highlights and reaction to the game tonight at 11 o'clock. Back to you.
Yeah, just keep us on and you won't miss it. The vibe's immaculate over there. Okay, thanks, Art.
Nice to see you.